Hey, how you doing, everyone? Okay, so apparently Packman's planning on leaving the United States. I haven't clicked play yet. I've just seen this is from early today, I think. So literally just popped up in my feed, and I thought, okay, I'm definitely doing a reaction to this because I'm actually curious to know what his reasons are. I mean, you can say how much you despise Trump, and I live in Canada. Of course, I can't. It's horrible what he's doing, quite frankly. But I'm very curious to know what his justifications are because, without being funny, I'm pretty sure the United States, up until very recently, has been incredibly good to him. So here we go.
I need to talk to you about something that I know is going to trigger strong reactions from people in my audience. My only request is that you hear me out first, okay?
Okay.
The title of this segment is I'm Preparing to Leave the Country. And before you start
Are
typing
you
angry
actually
comments about
preparing,
how I'm
though, or are you just being
abandoning the
provocative with
United
your titles?
States or whatever, I want to be crystal clear.
Hmm.
I am not actively planning to leave the United States at this moment. I'm not packing bags. I haven't bought a one way
So
ticket
when you
anywhere
say
for my
you're
family.
preparing to
What I'm
leave the
doing
country,
is I'm preparing to leave the country
what,
should the need
emotionally? Okay.
arise. And as I've said to people when they call in, if we all leave, we lose the fight by default. But I will never tell someone, don't do what's best for your family. And so this is a form of prepping in a way. It's contingency planning. So let me kind of walk you through what I've been doing over the last few months as the ire of MAGA Trumpism has pushed closer and closer to people that are generally in my situation: adversarial and antagonistic content creators, naturalized American citizens, another group of which I am a member. And let's have a rational conversation about preparedness. So, number one, I have been exploring what would it take to move to Canada. Canada is a difficult place to move to. I'm not doing the whole I'm moving to Canada thing. It's also difficult to move to Canada, but I want to understand the process. What are the requirements? What is the timeline? What is the framework under which I would potentially qualify to move to Canada? It's a very complicated process, but I want to be informed. Secondly, I have been reviewing options in Argentina. Now, I already hold citizenship in Argentina. I'm from Argentina. Argentina has its fair share of problems there.
Yeah, just pausing it there for a second. I mean, like, I guess in a way that is preparing, sure. Because when I think I'm preparing, what it usually means is like I am taking seriously the idea that I'm going to have to move. So I'd be like, okay, if you need a job, you're looking for work, you're contacting people, you're talking to immigration lawyers. Um, you're looking at the logistics of, okay, if I had to move, what would I have to take with me? Do I have all the things with me? Do I have the cash? How would I set up my business? What kind of, all this kind of stuff. So fair enough, I guess. I mean, it's not hyperbolic, you know. If that's what he's doing, then that's what he's doing.
Right? It's not like you move to Argentina and all of a sudden your problems are gone. There
Why
are
would you want
serious
to move to
problems in Argentina,
Argentina?
economic and also
I mean,
political.
obviously,
This
you
is
know,
not about
you're
fleeing.
from
It's
there,
okay,
but
if I want to go back there, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my family?
massive
Third,
hyperinflation and a
I have,
very
at
creepy
the
head of state.
advice of people in my audience, I have engaged with a law firm that would help me were I to have a problem re-entering the United States. I have found a law firm that essentially will be on standby when you re-enter the country, no matter your status. I'm a naturalized citizen. Should I have a problem, there would be someone that says, we will be available within X period of time, and should you have any issue getting back into the country, I want to make sure I understand my rights as a naturalized citizen when it comes to reentry. And fourth, this is not like passport bro stuff.
I just want to pause it there super briefly. Yes, in the United States right now, there is a concern about this, particularly from naturalized citizens. But it kind of made me pause for a second because the UK actually stripped someone of citizenship who was born in the country. So, people I know from the UK were like, oh, this is terrible. This is so shocking what's going on in the United States right now. Well, the Tory party did some pretty messed up stuff. They really did.
I've consulted with a specialist about European countries where you can get permanent residency. This is not because I'm planning to become a European resident. It's because I want to understand what are the options and how does it work. Now, you might say, David, why are you spending time and money if you're not planning to leave? And the answer is the same reason people have emergency funds in a bank account, even if they're not planning to lose their job.
That's
It's the
fair.
same reason people have insurance, even though they're not planning to have a car accident. It's the same reason people have fire extinguishers, even though they don't plan to set any house fires. Things are really uncertain right now. And we've seen how quickly things can.
Yeah, it's ironic. Like I moved to Canada basically to get away from Brexit. Um, wasn't the main reason, but it was definitely one of the reasons. I felt Canada was a lot more stable and a lot more secure. And then Donald Trump happened. But hey, hopefully it'll all be negotiated and worked out.
Change. We've seen journalists and political commentators in other countries face persecution. We've seen civil liberties eroded in places where people thought it wouldn't happen. So, am I saying I will need any of this? No. Am I saying it's likely? No, not yet. No, I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying I've determined circumstances are such that I want to know all of my options. Now, I want to be clear about what this is not.
This isn't. Maybe I'm splitting hairs, but it doesn't sound like he's quote unquote preparing to leave the country. Like if I said to someone, okay, prepare yourself, I'm literally saying, right, this is going to happen, be ready for it. Be ready for this. It doesn't really sound like that.
This is not a scheme to.
I mean, unless this is literally just him firing out a few emails one morning to a bunch of different, like, immigration officers around the world to ask for questions. And he just thought, you know what? I could totally make a 10-minute video out of this and make myself a bit of cash. Maybe that's all this is.
To avoid paying taxes. I know there are people who say, oh, you can move to Cyprus.
Yeah, you won't avoid
this is not
taxes
about
moving to
that at
Canada,
all. I'm
mate.
not
Believe
looking
me.
for tax havens. In fact, it's
Taxes
very
here are
difficult to renounce
obscene.
American citizenship. It's not something I'm even thinking of. And if you don't, even if you move to another country, you still have tax responsibilities
I
here
miss
in the United
Australia for
States.
that,
This
man.
is not about
God,
shirking
my
any financial
paycheck
obligation.
looked
This is not about
so
lifestyle
fucking good in
preference.
Australia.
It's
Taxes were
not
low.
the passport bro stuff, as I mentioned, or expat fire or any of these movements. This is purely, I want to understand my options in case circumstances change in ways that make staying here untenable for
Mm-hmm.
someone in my position. I still believe as of this moment, right, end of May 2025, I still believe as of this moment that the most likely scenario is I will never need any of this information. I'll continue living and working in the United States, paying my taxes, contributing to civic discourse, calling the United States home. But if the last 4 or 5 months have taught us anything, it's that sometimes unlikely scenarios become a reality.
True.
When they do, I want to be prepared. That's what this is. And
It's not the thing you think that's
the
going to
fact
happen
that
that
I
gets you.
feel
It's the thing that
like I need to justify
you have no
contingency
idea
planning so
about.
extensively probably
It's the thing
tells you
you
something about the
can't
current
think
political
of
climate.
is the
And the
thing that
fact
slaps you
that
in the
this
face.
even is controversial is probably why it makes
Like the
sense. So
sudden
have I
cancer
lost my mind?
diagnosis or your
Let me
car
know.
randomly
I
breaking.
think I'm being
It's that kind of stuff that
realistic
knocks you out.
about being responsible in preparation. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is it reasonable contingency planning, what I'm doing, or am I overthinking things? Or am I suffering from paranoid delusions? Let me know. info@davidpackman.com. I love exploring new countries. If you follow me on
Okay,
Instagram, you
we'll
see
stop
me
it
in
there.
Italy or.
In all honesty, I don't think it's paranoid or delusional. I mean, people move countries for any number of reasons all the time. If you genuinely don't feel comfortable where you are anymore, and you do have either the skill or the finances to move to a place which is more comfortable for you, more in line with your lifestyle or more in line with your values, then go ahead and do it. It's a shame people feel this way, but like I said, people do it all the time, all the time. So that's my kind of view on it. I don't think anything bad's going to happen. Um, there are some concerns. There are some issues. Obviously, people are being screened now at the border for political reasons, which never happened before. Like I'm not too comfortable with the idea of crossing the border, and the American border is like an hour drive away from my house. So yeah, which is a big shame because I actually really like the States. But okay, cool. We're going to look at his face. Look at his face. Move it to there. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Cheers. Take care. Bye.